Good morning, students. Welcome to another class on 20th century Malayalam literature in translation. So, right now we are learning about Mist, a novella by MT. So, I hope you already have finished watching the two videos I made on that. So, I have decided to divide this particular novella into three parts and tell you the story first. And then afterwards, I want to discuss a character and some elements like theme, plot, motives, etc. in the later videos. So I hope you have watched the two videos already, so I don't have to recap again. But we watched or we read about Vimala. She is the protagonist of this particular novella. She is a school teacher, 31 years old. She is working as a hostel warden in a boarding school for girls in Nainital, in the state of Uttaranchal. Those days, I don't think that state was there. It is a newly formed state anyway. So we met her. And she doesn't do anything, nothing much happens in her life. So when we see her, it's the month of April. May is about to approach. That is the spring season or the summer season is about to approach. It is a tourist season. And we see that her life is comprised of one action. That is waiting. Waiting is almost equal to an inaction because nothing active is going on there. And now who is this person she is waiting for? We get a glimpse into her memories. The whole novella actually progresses through her memories, her reminiscences. So we get the sense that she has had an encounter with a man named Sudhir Kumar Misra 9 years back when she first came to Nainital. And we also saw how in the last video I read you about their encounter and how they become lovers and how she feels like a spirit of submission when she makes love to Sudhir Kumar Misra. So we learned about all that. And we learned a little bit about her family history too, because she is from a Malayali family, but she has spent most of her life in northern India. After her father came to North India, there was a family feud or something. So she has never gone back to Kerala for the past 16 years. So it's actually a memory within a memory when she recounts her experiences or memories about Kerala to Sudhir Kumar Misra. And another action that goes on in Vimala's life is she takes frequent walks in the neighborhood. So through her eyes, we can actually see the beauty and magnificence of Nainital. It's a small hill station. And the tourist season is just about to start. The travelers haven't come. So we see the main spots in Nainital, especially the lake. We get to know the legend behind the lake and all. A mythological belief that the lake is actually the eye of goddess Parvati. So we get to hear about all these details. And we also meet other characters, like there is a person named Amar Singh who is working as a watchman in the boarding house. We saw a schoolgirl named Rashmi Vajpayee. She was the last to leave the hostel, and it is possible that she is leaving with her lover to spend a night of passion in Haldani. Our Vimala knows that, but she lets her go. She just wants somebody to enjoy life, I guess. And we also see other people, like we see Buddhu. Buddhu is actually a boatman who works in a boat named Mayflower. The name of the boat is also very important because both these people, Vimala and Buddhu, they are watching out for the month of May, because May is the season when summer starts, the tourist season starts. They both are waiting for people from their past. Vimala is waiting for Sudhir Kumar Misra, her erstwhile lover, whereas Buddhu is actually waiting for his father. So Buddhu is half British and half Indian. He's supposed to be born of a foreigner, a tourist who came to Nainital and had relationships with his mother. So We met all these characters, and in the last scene we read, we learned about Vimala's family, her father, who's bedridden, her mother, who's trying to recapture her youth by having relationship with another man, and she has a younger brother and sister. And in the last scene we read that her father has passed away, and she went home for funeral, and she is now coming back to Nainital because she doesn't feel like at home in her father's in her ancestral house or wherever they are. So that is where we left off, and let's see what happens in Vimala's life now. So now we see Vimala is back in Nainital, and she has come back from her father's funeral. She went to her own house, but she didn't feel like at home there. So that's why she came back to Nainital, where she felt comfortable once again. So we can definitely say that Nainital is her habitat. So she decides to engage in another walk, and she decides to walk uphill again to Lover's Track. Now, as she's trying to walk uphill, it's quite a steady climb, and she's having some difficulty climbing. So she stops to catch her breath near an old temple. And in the olden days, this temple was really popular because everybody, especially lovers, used to come there to pray for their union. But after this tragedy happened, some girls committed suicide by jumping off the rock on top of the top of Lover's Track. Ever since that incident, this place has become really unpopular. Now she feels like somebody is actually following her, and somebody says, "Stop, let me also catch up with you." So she turns around and she sees the Sardarji. So we talked about the Sardarji in the last video. Sardarji is the new visitor in the Traveler's Bungalow next to her boarding house. The Traveler's Bungalow name is Golden Nook. And the Sardarji is a little strange because we can't particularly place his age. He's somewhere between 40 and 60. His face is crooked and deformed. He doesn't have very pleasant features, but he is always in high spirits, it seems, and he is a singer. So on the first night Sardarji came to Nainital, our Vimala actually hears him singing a sad Punjabi folk song to the accompaniment of an instrument named Iktara, and she feels haunted yet comforted by this song. So she meets a Sardarji there. Sardarji says, "Let me catch up with you." So Sardarji is having much more trouble than Vimala climbing uphill. So he's panting heavily. He asks her permission to join her for the walk uphill. He's like, "Let me also, can I walk with you?" And she finds it a little strange. She usually doesn't like people joining her without her permission and all. But this time she just lets the guy walk with her. So he walks in it seems like this is not his first time here. So he points to a tree. Let me just read that portion from the novella. So he pointed to a tree among the thickets that looked as if it was centuries old and asked, "Did you see that tree, teacher ji? There used to be so many fallen flowers under it in the old days. Have you heard? There's a story that the serpent that lies coiled around Shiva Bhagavan's neck comes out of the hole under the tree once a year so that devotees can see it." So he shares a tale of a local legend. And Vimala has been living here in Nainital for the past 9 years, but she has never heard of this legend. So I told you about the old temple on top of Lover's Track. So he points to this tree and says, "There is a hole under that tree." So there is a local legend that there's a serpent who lives in that hole. Once a year, the serpent comes out, and this particular serpent is the very same serpent who coils around Shiva Bhagavan's neck. And he comes out once a year to give darshan to devotees. So he shares that local legend. Now, how does he know it? So we get the idea that this is not Sardarji's first time in Nainital. So he has come here before too. So, and he's taking a long while to walk uphill because, he doesn't seem that healthy anyway. Now, he decides to sit down, and he asks our Vimala to sit down with him. And first thing he asks is about her father. How old was your father, teacher ji? And she says 58. So he's trying to offer condolences for her father's passing. And then he says, death is a clown with no stage sense. Isn't that so, teacher ji? So you make a note of that quotation. Death is a clown with no stage sense. In Malayalam, it's called Maranam Rangabodhamillatte oru Komaliyana, because death doesn't know when to make an entry, when to make an exit. It's like when we least expect it, that is when death comes to haunt somebody or take somebody away from us. So that is, these lines are very famous. This line is very famous. It is quoted many times by many people. So and that's the first piece of conversation that happens between them. And then our Sardarji walks to the rock. I told you about the big rock on top of Lover's Track. And when he goes there, he sees that many lovers have written their names on the lover, like, Remini loves Kuttappan, and, things like that. So, he just looks around and he asks a peculiar question to Vimala. He asks, "Where is the souvenir of your first visit here, teacher ji?" So he kind of surmises that Vimala has been here before and she was not alone that time. She might have come here with her lover. And if she came here, where is her name with her lover's name? That is what he asks. And she cannot answer. She does not answer this. But she is very curious. And how does he know? And then he asks, why do people seek out places suited for suicides as spots for lovers to meet? This is something I have wondered too. Wherever there's a suicide point, that is where lovers usually come and meet. Maybe because of the natural beauty, and that it's secluded. Not many people come there. That might be why people in lovers come there to spend time with each other. And then he reveals something. He says that it is not his first time coming to Nainital. He has walked along this mountain trail. He has walked along Lover's Track. And at that point of time, even he was not alone. Maybe he had a lover or a wife when he came to Lover's Track. And then he reveals a key piece of information about himself. Let me read that to you. I am now walking through all the places where I once traveled, like the accountant at headquarters checking the stocks at the end of the year. So he says something strange. He's saying that he is revisiting the places which he had been to in the past. പണ്ടൊരിക്കൽ കണ്ട് പോയ സ്ഥലങ്ങളിലേക്ക് തിരിച്ച് ഇയാൾ വന്നു പോവുകയാണ് ഇപ്പോൾ. അത് അയാൾ യൂസ് ചെയ്യുന്ന ഒരു സിമിലി ഉണ്ട്. ഹി യൂസസ് ദ സിമിലി like the accountant at headquarters checking the stocks at the end of the year. So at the end of every year, the accountant of an office has to check if everything is up to date and if accounts are all clear and all. So why is he talking like this? We become a little more curious about Sardarji. Why is he revisiting the places he has been to in the past? So he again says that when he first visited this particular Lover's Track, he was 23 years old. And then he goes on saying he seems like a person who likes to talk. And he says that 23 is a perfect age to come to such a place, because 25 is a very crucial age in the life of a man. At that age, after that age, he's considered to be mature. He's considered, he's supposed to take responsibilities and all. So 24 is when you prepare to take responsibilities. And the ages from 18 to 22, you still have a little bit of adolescence left in you. So 23 is a perfect age to feel free, to fall in love, to travel and everything. So that is what he says. He seems like a really good fellow. He has a lot of quotations, quote-worthy sayings and all. So then he again talks to Vimala. He says, why don't you say anything, teacher ji? Why are you silent all the time? And Vimala again, he she doesn't respond to anything. And now the Sardarji wants to climb on top of the rock, and Vimala wants to stop him, but she doesn't know what to say. The Sardarji climbs on top of the rock with much effort. His face is now flushed, he is sweating, and he just climbs on top of it, and he asks something really strange. Have you seen the face of death, teacher ji? Look, now Vimala gets really frightened. Is this guy going to jump off the rock? But anyway, to her comfort, he climbs down from the rock, and they walk back to the boarding house, and he goes to Golden Nook. And he says bye, and he says thank you for a happy evening. You spent some time with me. My thanks to you, my thanks to God, and thanks to the world. And Vimala feels like he's actually making fun of her. It was certainly not a happy evening for her. Anyway, it was just an ordinary evening. And then he again asks, he gives her an advice. He says, you must not lose your sleep thinking of the dead. There are so many people on this earth who are still alive. He might be talking about her being upset about her father's death. But to Vimala, she's not just upset about her father's death. She's still keeping on waiting for this mystery man named Sudhir Kumar Mishra. Anyway, they make plans to meet the next evening for a boat ride. So Sardarji invites her to go on a boat ride with him the next evening. And Vimala becomes a little happy about it. She is happy that something is happening in her life. Somebody cares to spend some time with her. So the next evening, she gets ready and she's waiting for the Sardarji. And she imagines how at the right time Amar Singh will come in and announce that Sardarji has come for her. But unfortunately, Amar Singh came with a message from Sardarji. So the note is, let me read the note for you. Forgive me, the companion who is my guardian has ordered me to rest today. I have no alternative except to obey him. The loss is mine. So he sends this note saying that he has a companion. The companion is also his guardian. Now, the guardian has ordered him not to go out and to rest inside the house. So he says that it is my loss that I won't be able to spend time with you. It is my loss. And he says sorry. Now, Vimala becomes really upset. Not upset, she becomes a little irritated. What she felt was not distress, but she feels a childish insistence. Even if he doesn't come, I really want to go on that boat ride. I am going to go whatsoever. Now she gets out of her boarding house. She goes on a walk to the lake again. So she goes, and a lot of people, boatmen actually approach her. They offer her ride, but she seems to be waiting for Buddhu and Mayflower. Finally, she spots Buddhu and Mayflower. So while she is waiting for Buddhu, she gets noticed by other boatmen on the lake, but she is waiting for him. And while she is waiting, she gets attention by the hawkers, the people trying to sell all kinds of stuff in tourist locations. Now, one person comes near her. He says, "Picture postcards, 10 for 2 rupees." But the hawker comes near her and looks at her, and then he goes in his own way. Now maybe at first he thought that she is a tourist, but when he came near her, he might have understood that, oh, this is not a tourist, she must be a lady who lives here. Also, what kind of tourist looks tired and sleepy? Now, about her, she has graying hair, her lips have been blackened with Vaseline. That means she has been living in this hill station for a while. People living in cold places, they have the habit of using Vaseline on their lips. And with continuous use, your lips can actually become darker. And also, her eyes are really hollow. Her eyes are described as um, valleys of her shadow filled eyes. Maybe she has dark circles. Maybe she is tired of all the waiting and inaction that is going on in her life. Finally, Buddhu comes and she goes on the boat ride alone with Buddhu in Mayflower. And when she looks at Mayflower, Mayflower has actually prepared for the tourist season. So it's been painted fresh. And Buddhu and her try and talk to each other. Buddhu's concern is about finding his birth father, the white guy who impregnated his mother. And Buddhu is asking, like, what is the season like, Mem Sahab? So see, Vimala is actually reassuring Buddhu that this time his father would definitely come. There are a lot of white people, foreigners who came to Nainital that year by bus. And She keeps on reassuring Buddhu. Buddhu says, lot of white sahibs keep coming. Our man is the only one who's never to be seen. Buddhu is actually getting a little tired. He still has a lot of hope, but he says that many people come, just my father is not showing up. But Vimala seems to reassure him that this time he'll come, he's sure to come. And then Vimala talks to herself. Let me read this for you. All of us are waiting, Buddhu, every year, and so is this town. In the meanwhile, the days go by, like bubbles scattering as the ore falls. You have the likeness of a white man to wait for. Someone else may be waiting for a face with blue veins that twitch. Now, Vimala is talking to herself. Why is Vimala reassuring this boy that her father would definitely come? When it's almost sure that the man will never come back. For the man, it was just a one night stand with Buddhu's mother. So, Vimala is trying to reassure her because she's trying to reassure herself that Sudhir Kumar Misra will come back at some point. And now we get the final piece of the jigsaw puzzle. This whole novel is in the form of a puzzle. We don't get definite answers anywhere, and we get some scattered memories here and there, and we are supposed to take these memories and arrange it together in a chronological order and find out what really happened in Vimala's past and why she is spending her days and nights like this, alone and in a stagnant state. So, final piece of the jigsaw puzzle is that she starts reminiscing about her life 9 years back when she first met Sudhir Kumar Misra. So, she feels like, let me read this passage to you. That meeting was not an accident, Vimala Devi. 21-year-old Vimala Devi, beautiful, with light blue hair on her upper lip, meets 29-year-old young, hot headed Sudhir Kumar Mishra early morning on 3rd May 1955 in a bus. It had been written on one of the pages in the great book of time that this would happen, even before we were born. It was to arrive at this moment that I had been wandering all over the country. It was for this that your father had severed his bonds with his own village. And it is for this that the sorrowful Mr. Gomez became your mother's lover, and you quarreled with your mother and left home to work for your living. This was no ordinary event, Vimala Devi. It was a crucial moment when your life began to be fulfilled. Now, Vimala feels like her whole life, the purpose of her whole life is to meet Sudhir Kumar Mishra, spend a few moments of love with him, and then eternally to wait for Sudhir Kumar Mishra. So she feels like it was by no mere coincidence that 21-year-old Vimala Devi lost communication with her native place in Kerala because her father had some troubles with his family. They came to northern India. She spent her whole life in different places in North India. And then when her father fell ill and got bedridden, her mother had an affair with Mr. Gomez, and that led to her quarreling with her mother, which led to her leaving home and taking a job in Nainital as a teacher. And it was on this first journey to Nainital that she met the 29-year-old Sudhir Kumar Mishra, who's described as a spendthrift, vagabond, and peculiar. He is described as extremely handsome, hot headed, young, etc. So she feels like my whole life was preparing me for this moment to meet him. Likewise, Buddhu also has a purpose in his life. Now, Vimala is not going to let Buddhu give up hope that his father will come back. If Buddhu loses hope, Vimala's hope is also gone. So they are shadows of each other. We can definitely say that. Now let's see what happens. So Vimala and Buddhu, as I mentioned, they are shadows of each other. Vimala finds a kindred spirit in Buddhu. Buddhu and Vimala, they both have long and fruitless wait. We don't know what happened to Sudhir Kumar Mishra. Is he alive or dead? Did he actually make a fool of Vimala and fled the place? We don't know that. But Vimala certainly doesn't want Buddhu to feel like he has to give up. She doesn't want to blow off the flame of hope in him. And by keeping that flame alight, she is actually keeping the flame alight in herself. She is reassuring herself that one day this Sudhir Kumar Mishra will definitely come back. And later she walks back to the boarding house and she meets Sardarji. And Sardarji asks her how her boat ride was. Now, how does this man know that she went on a boat ride? Now, Sardarji says something really strange. Sardarji says that, I know you. I know how you would think when I wouldn't show up. You would be so pissed off with me that you will decide to go on that boat ride yourself. Now, she becomes so confused. This man doesn't even know me. How does he say that he knows what course of action I will take? Now he tells her something further in a strange. Um, he before that he takes out a cigarette. He wants to smoke a cigarette. He doesn't want anybody to see, and he says that his guardian doesn't let him smoke. So Vimala says, "I haven't met your guardian," and he says, "You never will meet my guardian. He is very special." And all of a sudden, Sardarji shocks Vimala by saying that he likes him. I like you for no special reason. പ്രത്യേകിച്ച് കാരണമൊന്നുമില്ല, പക്ഷെ എനിക്ക് നിങ്ങളെ ഇഷ്ടമാണ്. And she gets all confused about it. How does he say that he likes me? He doesn't even know me. Now, to that, Sardarji says that that's how it should be. I can find out your entire background by asking other people. Hundreds of details. When they all come together, there will be 1,000 roots and branches and leaves in the picture, and you yourself will only be a speck. So he says that that is how you're supposed to like a person. You are supposed to like them for what they are. So you meet a person, then you have to instantly feel a spark about that person. Now, what we normally do is we inquire about them. Especially in India, we inquire about their family background, their caste and religion and everything. And after that, we decide if we have to fall in love with them or not. But he says that he likes her without even knowing these details about her. And that is how you should like people. And then he says that I just like you, just like that, without imagining any kind of relationship between us. He's not making it romantic, or he's not making her his sister or anything. There is no relationship between them. He just likes her. That is all. That is how things are supposed to be. That's what Sardarji says. So, so next day, Sardarji is actually planning to leave, and before going inside, Sardarji says, time for my medicine. My guardian is someone to be scared of. So Sardarji says, it's time that I take my medicine. Otherwise, my guardian will be angry with me. Now Sardarji leaves and Vimala sleeps. That night also, Vimala listens to Sardarji's songs to the accompaniment of Iktara. And next day, early morning, Vimala is waken up by Amar Singh. Amar Singh says that Sardarji asked Vimala to come and meet him because Sardarji is leaving Nainital and he wants to take leave of you. He wants to say goodbye. And he says, forgive me for disturbing your sleep, teacher ji, and all. So even though Vimala is drowsy, Vimala says, we will meet again. I'll see you once again. And Sardarji gives a shocking piece of news to Vimala. He says that I'm not completely sure that we will meet again. And he reveals that he has lung cancer and the doctor said that he only had 1 year to live, but he has lived for 4 more months. He got 4 more bonus months, and that is why he is retracing his steps. He's revisiting all those places he went to as a youngster. And then when Sardarji leaves, Vimala is looking for his companion and his guardian. The person who Sardarji says was with him. And she even asks Amar Singh, where is his companion? Now Amar Singh says, companion? He was alone, BBG. He came alone. He didn't have anybody with him. So who is this companion? So the companion is probably cancer or death. So that is another shocking piece of information we get. And now let's go to the ending of this novella. Now we finally see Vimala is walking along the shore of the lake once again, and she meets Buddhu there. And the tourist season is almost about to end. And let's see what is going on between the two of them. How quickly the season finished, Memsa. Buddhu says, how quickly the season has finished. That's right. No one came. She repeated in a troubled voice. No one came. We will wait for next year, right, Memsa? Not paying attention to her reply, she repeated, yes, next year. Unsure whether Mem Sahib was showing the interest she should, Buddhu patted his skin-colored jacket and asked rather loudly, he'll come for sure, won't he, Mem Sahib? She nodded. As the boat moved away, she gazed at the long, snaky trail it left on the water and murmured, he's sure to come. So that's the ending of this particular novella. So at the end, Vimala is seen to be reassuring Buddhu. But when she is reassuring him that your father will come, he's reassuring herself that Sudhir will come back. So she doesn't give up hope. Whatever happens in her life is just waiting and inaction and stagnancy and waiting again and going on walks. So this is a very painful ending to this novella. Nothing actually happens here, but we get a glimpse into the life of a woman whose whole life was centered around one particular experience and one particular man. Her whole life is revolving around the coming back of that man. And she is waiting for his homecoming so that he could fulfill the promises he made to her. We don't know what happened to him. Maybe he was genuine. He made promises and he meant to carry them out. But maybe something happened to him. Maybe he passed away. We don't know. Maybe he was toiling with her emotions. Maybe he just wanted to have a good time with a young woman. We don't know that either. All we know is that Vimala has this sense of hope, the spirit of hope and unending waiting. We can only hope for the best for her. So thank you so much for listening to me till the end. I'll meet you again in the next video where I'll try to explain the themes and the characters and plot and motive and everything. Plot you already listened to, motives and everything. So till then, watch my 3 videos and I'll definitely upload the next video really soon. Thank you for your attention. I hope this was beneficial. Have a nice day. Bye.